Hi! Welcome to the State of Decay 2 stream. I'm your host, Geoffrey Card, and over here next to me we got Dan Mode. He is a hard surface artist. That means he makes cars and guns and all kinds of cool stuff. How you doing, Dan?
I'm great.
He's playing the game right now.
Welcome, guys. Happy Thanksgiving.
We should watch him do that. So we are in the base game right now. We played a little bit of Daybreak before the show, but we're in the base game right now, and we're going to be talking today about patch 5.0. So we just released the big Zed Hunter update, which added crossbows to the game, a bunch of new weird consumables to the game. But there were a bunch of other changes that came with that too. You know, we got the big stuff that we were hyping, but there's a lot of little tweaks and a lot of little bug fixes and new features and improvements to features that got in, and that weren't really the headliners. And so we're going to spend this stream talking about the patch notes, talking about all the different random little things that went into the game. So we got folks in the chat on Mixer, on Twitch, and on YouTube. Welcome to all you guys. So you know, if you have any questions about the stuff we're talking about, please say them. I'll probably not notice them as they're whizzing by on the screen, but we've got you know, mods in the chat who will be funneling questions to us. So hopefully we'll be able to, you know, get to your questions. And in the meantime, you can also name your favorite guns so we can say them out loud to Dan, because he's our gun guy. So
one of the gun guys.
He's one of the gun guys. That's true. He is a gun guy.
We got Mark and Brant working on those too.
We have multiple gun guys, and I think Mark is probably in the chat here too, so he can cool. curse at me in the chat for forgetting his contribution to guns. But yeah, so. Whoop. Firearms, exactly. So, patch 5.0. So, we're not going to mention the fact that we got crossbows in the game. We're not going to mention the fact that we got a bunch of new Blood Plague consumables and a bunch of missions introducing you to the Blood Plague consumables and to the crossbows. What we'll start with is actually the improvements to Daybreak. So, we're not in Daybreak right now. We just played a little bit of Daybreak in the pre-stream. But one of the biggest things that we did was, when you earn Clio rewards in Daybreak, and then you quit halfway through the match, normally it used to be that you would just lose all of your rewards. But that was really kind of hurting people, especially people who got kicked by the host, people who lost their connection. They weren't getting the rewards that they had earned, and so we changed the rule on that. So now, if you quit early, we still deliver the rewards to you. Still get the unlocks and the prestige and stuff that you earned during the game. So hopefully that will be helpful to folks who were having a bad experience with that before. We also have on the collection screen, which is you can access that from the main menu, and I believe there's a way to get to it within the game too. We now show you how much prestige you currently have. Prestige, you know, is the currency that you earn when you're playing Daybreak. We show you how much prestige you've earned so far, which lets you do things like notice that you're getting close to the cap. Gives you a sense of scale when you're looking at, you know, the prestige value of all the new things you're unlocking. So hopefully that'll be helpful to folks. We improved the interface on the walls. So now when a wall doesn't need to be repaired, it doesn't have an icon hovering in front of it anymore. So you can really easily single out the walls that need repair. And in fact, the walls that are really in bad shape, they get a red icon, whereas the other walls get a more of a yellow, orangey icon. So hopefully, at a glance, you can tell where your wall problems are a lot better now than you could before. We added a waiting screen for clients. So when you're joining somebody else's game and their game hasn't fully started up yet, there were some awkward moments that used to exist, but now we've got a waiting screen for you, so you actually don't join the game until join the game properly until the host is fully up and running. So we can kind of skip some of those weird awkward moments that were happening. When a player dies in Daybreak. It used to be that they would, if they had laid a bunch of minefields and stuff out in the world, those minefields would just sort of, especially like triggered minefields, things like you know, where it was waiting for them to push a button. Now when they die and they're gone and there's nobody left to push the button, we just get rid of all of those things that were out of they were just creating a lot of clutter. No one could ever set them off, and it was just kind of causing a mess. So those go away now when the character goes away. Oh, and now the loadout screen, when you're first starting up Daybreak, it now remembers your last selection. So if you always bring a certain gun into Daybreak, it'll remember that instead of making you manually select it each time. Yeah, I think that's really helpful. I mean, it's the kind of thing where it's like until you've played a bunch of rounds of it, it's really easy not to notice that you need like a thing like that. But once you played enough of it, it becomes really obvious what a huge help that is. So
especially if you have like a certain role that you like to play with your friends, you know,
like I'm always shotgun guy or something like that. Yeah, no, exactly. So those are the improvements we made to Daybreak itself. We also made some improvements to what happens with the Red Talon contractors that come into your game here. So whenever you are not surrounded by zombies, if you wouldn't mind opening your radio menu.
I think we're clear.
Yeah, up in the I think it's up on the D-pad.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Okay, so go to the Daybreak option there, the Daybreak category.
Sorry.
There, yes. So notice, it used to be you only had one Recruit Red Talon contractor option. Now you've got two. You've got Recruit Red Talon Daybreak Operator and Recruit Red Talon Soldier. Now, these two soldiers are identical in terms of their stats. They both get the maxed out skills. They both get the new special fifth skills. But the only difference is cosmetic. The guys on top, the Daybreak Operators, they show up in the balaclava and the full outfit. The guys down below show up in the classic Red Talon uniform that you see normal Red Talon people using in the base game. We had a lot of requests that people were like, I really liked those, sort of the black outfit with the tan vest over it. They got really into that, and people were actually exploiting some missions that were not meant to let them recruit those characters, just to recruit those characters and get them in the game. And so when we gave people the option to recruit Red Talon people, they were kind of hoping they'd get those outfits, and instead they just got the balaclava guys. So now you can choose. You can decide what outfit they show up in.
That's cool.
Yeah, I think that'll make at least a small subset of our players happy, and so that makes us happy. Let's see here. So Hansel Adola wants to know what your favorite Thanksgiving dish is, Dan.
Ooh, I'm the sucker for mac and cheese. I also really like the canned cranberry sauce.
Oh, like you actually get the can-shaped blob of it on the plate.
The round pattern on it.
Yeah. Oh,
I'm on board.
That used to. Yeah. So I used to. Yeah. Turkey has always been kind of like it's a little too dry for me a lot of the time, so I would have to smother it in cranberry sauce.
I like the dark meat. Yeah.
The dark meat's a little I don't know, greasier in a good way. So macaroni and cheese is going to be my job this year. So I'm glad that
don't screw it up.
Yeah, no. My wife actually's got an Instant Pot recipe for it is really really good. So
I didn't know you could do mac and cheese. We just got an Instant Pot at our house, so
it's pretty incredible. Yeah, because I mean you can make some really really good meals with it. And
I knew it was the real deal because I put chicken breast in there with some seasoning and stuff, and I stuck my fork in the chicken to pull it out to make sure it was done.
Yeah,
and it just pulled the piece off. I was like, yes.
So this is today's stream is brought to you by Instant Pot. Instant Pot is I don't know what their slogan is.
Go get you one.
So I think you've answered this question before, but people always want to ask you what your favorite gun is in State of Decay 2.
Oh man, I like the MP5. That's a lot of fun. It's a 9mm, so you can use it with pistol ammo. Carry a pistol with you. Share the ammo between the two. And then usually it's like a good shotgun's a good problem solver.
The variety of shotguns
and
you like.
In the game and in real life, I like the 1911 a lot too. So
oh, cool! Yeah, that's classic.
It's classic. Gets the job done.
So, continuing to talk about the Red Talon contractors. So, not only do you now have two options for recruiting somebody that have different character models, different outfits on, but when they arrive, after you inspect them and you see what skills they have, you actually have the option to reject them and send them off and get a refund. You don't get a complete refund. It's only 3,000 prestige instead of the 3,250 that you pay for them. But
where's the last container? Community?
I knew there were a lot of... Oh, I don't know. There were a lot of players who were actually exiling their Red Talon contractors that they'd spent a lot of prestige on because they wanted to get a different mix of skills. And so now you don't have to, recruit them and exile them and waste all of that prestige. Oh, check. Oh, wow. We finally killed 10,000 zombies.
10,000.
Yes. Well done.
10 G's, y'all.
So now you can reject them, and you don't have to lose the entire 3,250. You can actually lose only 250 prestige, which for you folks who are much better at Daybreak than me, might be small potatoes. So now that you know, that's the thing that you might not discover unless you actually read the patch notes. And so I hope that kind of gives you guys some confidence to recruit more of these guys, and and not worry that you're going to be wasting your efforts. Also, so you can also recruit them a lot more often now. So not only do you have 2 different radio options, which with their own separate cooldowns, so you can actually recruit 2 guys practically at once.
Wow.
But the cooldown has been halved too. So instead of having to wait 90 minutes before you can recruit another one, you only have to wait 45 minutes. And really, it's 45 minutes per 2 guys, per 2 soldiers. So you can get them a lot, funnel them into your community a lot faster than you could before. Okay, so it's funny. So this next one, somebody actually found a bug with it today and reported it to me on Discord. But allegedly, we fixed it so that it used to be that if you brought your Red Talon contractors with you, in the car as your follower, there was a chance that they would have a conversation with you and gain a new trait through that conversation. Oh, wow. And the trait would insert itself awkwardly into their trait list and look like it was eliminating their other Red Talon traits.
Oh, wow.
And so it wasn't actually eliminating their traits. It just looked like it was eliminating their traits. The traits were there. They just were hidden. But now we couldn't eliminate those traits from your characters because we just don't have that power. But from now on, Red Talon contractors should not get those new traits anymore. So just because, there wasn't really room in the list to show all of the traits that they would have after that process. So they just don't do it anymore. Except there was one that I missed. So Professional DJ is the one that so a lot of these Red Talon contractors were DJs in their former lives. So Ouchie on Discord found that one and sent me a screenshot. So I went and fixed it. So some future patch, Professional DJ will also be excluded, but for now that one can sneak through.
Nothing says core survival skill like being a professional DJ.
Well, I mean, they're used to trying to deal with unruly crowds. And trying to assess what a crowd's going to do and respond. Like, it feels like it actually might be pretty relevant.
Good point.
Oh, so Red Talon contractors that have combat medicine, they can now offer medical advice over the radio like a real doctor. So it used to be they were the only medical skill that couldn't do that, and so now they can. And then the warfighting skill, which is the Red Talon version of the shooting skill. It advertised that it caused all shots to pierce enemies. I believe that's a sharpshooting ability. It was advertising that it had that ability, but it didn't actually work. And so now, in the base game, when you're playing a Red Talon contractor that you've recruited to your home community, it does work. It says that it works, and it does work now. But we didn't want to add that into Daybreak because it would overpower the contractors if they could if every single shot, even from a Clio pistol, would just go through all of the zombies. And so we omitted it from the guys that you're actually playing in Daybreak. So now it is two different. There were 2 different solutions, one for Daybreak and one for the core game. But the skill now works as advertised in both places. And I'm going to check out, let's see, have we got any other questions? Oh, one other big thing that went in around the same time as the Z100 update is we've got a new support site. So support.stateofdecay.com. If if you're playing through the new updated content and you run into any problems, or if you just run into problems with things that have been in there for a long time, go to support.stateofdecay.com. You will get answers much more quickly. You'll be put in contact with people who have close ties to us here who are building the game, and they'll be able to bubble up serious problems to us, and either give you resources to try to solve your own problems locally, or give your problems to us so that we can try to solve them for everybody and put them out in the next patch. So it is much better than it was before. We used to have other different means of trying to get in contact, and a lot of those methods just they couldn't handle the volume. It was really difficult to stay on top of. And so we've got a much better system now. So please go to support.stateofdecay.com if you have any problems. And we would love to involve you in the process of solving these things. And of course, there's always our Discord, which folks can post links to. If you want to talk to us about whatever, we spend either the devs spend some time in the Discord, and there's also folks whose job it is either as volunteers or as paid employees to spend time in the Discord, and so you'll be able to talk to folks that they can listen to you and hear what's going on. What you got going on here?
It's got
the K bar and the
SP5K, which is the civilian version of the MP5. So nice.
So yeah, we've got. Oh, well, yeah. One thing that we add, actually, I don't know that's probably later on in the patch notes. I'll have a look at that. So, okay, so those are all the changes to the Red Talon contractors. Getting into the gameplay section. Oh, the aim camera no longer hitches when you're zooming in and out with a sight or a scope. And I think this gun, does it have a sight? Yes. So notice how smoothly we're going in and out right now. It used to be that the camera would just go haywire every time you did this, and it was ridiculous. So now it's really smooth. You keep your aim. You can, you don't kind of lose track of what you're looking at because the camera's going weird. That was one of my favorite things that we did. Like, that used to drive me freaking insane. Yeah. So yeah. Props to Henry who fixed that.
Henry fixed that? Good job, Henry.
Henry Goffin fixed that guy. What else do we do? Oh, NPCs no longer become hostile when dealt damage from friendly sources. So thing is, we actually at the studio we believed that there was no friendly fire in our game. We really believed that. We thought that grenades and stuff like that weren't hurting your allies. But it turns out, no, their AI was just good enough at dodging it that we never saw them get hurt.
Wow.
So their AI would get out of the way. And we only noticed it when we got the bloater gas grenades. Because bloater gas, it's a different kind of explosion. And so it wasn't triggering their dodging behavior the way that the other explosives did. And suddenly we were noticing that you could just murder anybody. You could just go wipe out a bunch of your allies for no good reason. And it was causing real problems at the office. And we're like, what's going on? I thought that we had no friendly fire. Turns out, we absolutely had friendly fire, and you could totally do that with any explosives. They were just really good at getting out of the way.
Wow. So, learn something new every day.
Yeah, so that's fixed now. So now you really can't hurt people with your explosives, and that's nice. Because it was funny, because I would talk about, like, oh yeah, just throw a firebomb at the engineer or whatever at the daybreak. Just throw a firebomb at him, no big deal, they won't get hurt. And then players were giving each other advice: don't throw firebombs, you're gonna kill your technician. Or technician, that's his name. You kill your technician. I was like, what are you talking about?
That's crazy.
Yeah, and so it's so funny how you can just miss stuff like that. But anyway. So when you want to withdraw a rucksack from your storage, you can no longer do that from miles away on the map. So if you actually, do you want to go to your base real quick? No, not go physically to your base. Like, go to your base screen. Sorry. So you're outside your base. Just go to the tab to the right a couple times. And then go over to your storage facility down at the bottom. Oh wait, there's a guy on the...
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's just deal with that. Anyway, point is...
Scrape this bug off my boot.
So are you actually... Yeah. Anyway, point is...
I'm in hostile territory.
You shouldn't be able to withdraw rucksacks from all the way across the map. You can only do that locally now. So I think if you... I'm not exactly sure what happens if you try it, but yeah. So because that was an exploit, people were basically able to teleport stuff across the map whenever they wanted to without having to go home. And yeah, no, that wasn't the intent of that feature. Let's see, what else?
Gotta do it the hard way now, guys.
You gotta do it the hard way.
I'm driving away from where I want to go.
Oh, NPCs. Oh, yes, I accidentally skipped ahead and was reading facility stuff. So back to gameplay. NPCs no longer react negatively when you accidentally point a gun in their direction. So it used to be, you have guys around you, and you'd be aiming at a zombie, and your gun would, like, pass over a guy. He'd be like, hey, whoa, dude, stop aiming your gun at me. It's so freaking dangerous. And they would do that all the time.
Oh.
It would get kind of annoying. So they just don't do that anymore. They understand you're not trying to kill them, and they trust you. There's more trust in your community now.
That's a good thing.
Your character is no longer... They're now only impressed by a scavenging location if it's actually impressive. It used to be... We had a bug in the way that the characters were evaluating sites. So that basically, instead of being impressed by a site because it had a lot of containers to search, they would be impressed by a site because it had very few empty containers. And so most of the bigger sites that were full of containers actually have a lot of empties. And so those weren't triggering the, I'm so impressed by this site dialogue. Instead, it would be like tiny shacks that only had one container.
Yeah.
And so that's why those ones would trigger it. So you would like go inside a tiny shack and be like, whoa, guys, I've hit the mother lode. And then you'd go inside a huge factory and be like, whatever, and like say nothing. So now we've got that flip. So now only if you go into like a huge warehouse full of stuff will the character be like, oh my gosh, I found so much things. So that should make them seem a little bit more intelligent. And also, your character should no longer react to every suburban house like it's a prime outpost opportunity.
Oh, yeah.
That was an annoying one. Because basically, it was every... we sort of made a decision early on that characters would say this dialogue when they went to a special outpost. An outpost that offered something unusual. So like outposts that just offered resources, they wouldn't say that for. But if it offered something like
a police station,
or like a radio call-in, like you can do, artillery fire from this. They would be like, whoa, guys, we should outpost this place. Do you like that all of my characters are surfers? Apparently, when I'm talking for them, bro, I'm like always the Barry voice. Anyway, so now, but the problem was suburban houses offer beds, which were technically in the category of it offers something weird and special. And so beds, so they would walk into the building and say, oh, it offers beds. Dude, this is such an amazing outpost opportunity, when actually it's the most vanilla possible outpost that you could possibly have. So they don't do that anymore. And so we believed that we fixed an issue that was making it really difficult to walk instead of jog using the analog stick. And so I heard somebody on Discord say, or somebody in the chat saying that maybe we didn't fix it quite as well as we did, but try walking around a little bit. Just try to make your character walk at a walking pace. Okay, so you can do it. He does get to the jog kind of fast, but it used to be like literally impossible to get them to walk. Like the way that it was tuned, the moment you're moving at all, you were immediately at a jog.
This one, yeah. It is sensitive.
It is still pretty sensitive, but it's not impossible anymore. And it was completely impossible before. So that one was actually called out by the community, and that the reason why we were able to find it and fix it was because people called it out, so we appreciate that. And if you have any more problems with it, go to support.stateofdecay.com. That's where you can tell us that things we did were not good enough, and we can, we can get back to you on that. All right, community fixes. So first off, it might have not been clear in our previous patch notes for patch 4.3 that there is now a limit on the legacy characters that you can save in your game. And basically, we were having a problem where some players who had played a lot of the game and stored up huge amounts of legacy characters, their game was literally not able to save anymore. They could not play anymore because their save file was so big it couldn't be saved to the cloud. And it took us a while to figure out. We didn't even know that was a restriction until we sort of looked into it. So we fixed it by capping the number of legacy characters that you can have, which means for those players, the game became playable for them again, which is really important.
Yeah.
But it's rough if you had a lot of characters and you've done a lot of legacying to start losing the characters you don't play as much. And we realize that, and so we're working hard now on figuring out sort of a better user experience for like trying to make sure that that you're keeping the characters you want and losing the characters you don't care about, rather than just sort of losing characters invisibly in the background. So we don't have a fix for that yet, but we're working on it. But in the meantime, we really want people to be aware of the fact that yeah, there is now a limit on how many characters you can store from your legacy communities. But another thing that plays into that is, it used to be when you deleted a community, like you did a false start, you're like, oh, let me put together this community with these characters and start, and like, oh, wait, never mind, I actually wanted to do something different, and you back out and you delete that community to start again, you would lose all of those characters. Anytime you deleted a community, all the characters would be gone.
Wow.
Even if you had played that character through 7 different legacies or something like that, they would still be gone. And that happened to some people.
That would be upsetting.
And they felt really bad. So now, if you have a character who has been through at least one legacy, if they've been part of a community that has legacy, then they are saved when you delete their community. So now, if you've got a character who was either newly generated for that community or was recruited from the map during that community, they will still be deleted if you delete the community. But if they've been through at least one successful legacy and they're like one of your long-term characters, we're going to save them if you delete the community. Let's see here. Okay, so I already mentioned that... so negative traits that are gained through conversation. We talked about that before, like that some Red Talon contractors were getting these traits that were sort of disrupting their trait lists from conversation. We disabled that for Red Talon contractors, but other characters can still get them. But one thing we'd heard from players was that some of them were avoiding ever taking followers anywhere because some of those traits brought negative consequences with them, and they were scared that their favorite character might get a negative trait added to them because they were a follower. And so I went through all of those traits, and all of the really serious negative consequences I either removed or reduced them down to the point where they're pretty manageable. It's like a very small morale penalty or something like that. So those negative traits are now much, much less negative than they were before, and a lot of them just lost their negativity altogether. There's just no negativity with them at all. So I hope players will feel more confident taking followers out, because having backup when you're out in the field is really valuable.
Yes.
So I hope players will actually feel good about taking characters out and are not going to be avoiding them as much as they were before, because there's a lot less risk of something bad happening to those characters. Let me quickly check in and see if we've got any new questions. We got a couple of technical questions that came in that I actually don't know the answer to. Jason 40win asks, why does my State of Decay 2 app always close every time I tab? That I don't know about. I haven't heard about that. But if you take that to support.stateofdecay.com, am I saying that right, by the way, folks? I think yes, support.stateofdecay.com. I keep wondering if it's State of Decay 2, but it's not. It's support.stateofdecay.com. Go there and report that there, because that's where you can probably get the best help, better help than I can give you on the stream. And then there's one about the storage symbol staying on the screen, and I'm not sure about that bug either. So please do report that too. So Ernest Mooshot Ernest Mooshot asks, can we have hostile enclave sieges or more survivor traps? So that's something, we talked about the fact, we announced at XO18 that we're going to be working on trying to make the game more challenging. And one of the areas where people have cited that the game feels too easy is when you're dealing with other humans. The other humans are just kind of too easy to fight. They're not enough of a threat. And so that is something that we're thinking about. It's one of the areas where we feel like the game could easily get harder. So no specific promises on that, but that's probably the team who's going to be looking into questions like that about whether we can get more serious conflicts with other humans. Definitely don't want to promise anything the scale of sieges or anything like that, though, because human AI in our game is one of the more expensive things for the CPU to handle. A lot of different human characters all engaging in combat all at the same time would actually be a big deal. So definitely keep your expectations low when it comes to stuff like that. Throwing a ton of humans into a fight is actually something you might not want to see if it actually happened in the game. But as far as making the fight with humans more satisfying, we are looking into that, and we'll see what we're able to pull off. Let's see here. So yeah, the cap. Oh, by the way, the cap on the number of legacy characters you can have. Megan just reminded me, I might not have said it out loud. Is 50 characters. So you can have 50 characters saved in the background, ready to be brought into a new community, and that's where the limit is. You might want to turn your light on.
Safety.
Oh, dude, he's gone. He's down. He's down. Oh, check her out. Like, body slamming that zombie. That was great. Okay. Let's go back to the patch notes. Oh, so we fixed several skill specializations that weren't responding to experience buffs. And so this is something that kind of arose from how complex the game is. There are a lot of different. There's a skill system on one side and the facility system on the other side, and the system that determined what the effects of our facilities were. Like, say, this facility, when you turn on this feature of it, or when you activate this action, it makes all of your shooting skills go up faster, which is great. Except that as we continued to iterate and edit the shooting skills, particularly when we added the Red Talon skills, that was over on the skills system, and we didn't actually update the part of the facility system that determined which skills were getting upgraded or were getting leveled up faster. And so we neglected to add those skills onto that list. And so for a while, people were having trouble. They could not they could not apply those buffs to their Red Talon contractors.
Man.
So now you should be able to. All of your skills, including your Red Talon skills, should be upgraded the way you expect. Should be like, you know, leveled up faster the way you expect from your facilities. And maybe I should take a little break to not distract you from this combat. It does feel a little bit like there's a few more zombies out there, doesn't it? Sometimes.
Yeah. My bloater popped, and then I was right next to a horde. So I had to get out of my vehicle, but then heal.
So let's see here. Oh yes, we fixed an issue where we would display a mood for description for a character that was not actually as sad as their real mood. So just we had something in the UI that was like
I'm fine.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, that kind of sounds a little sadder, doesn't it? Like that was, you know, my dad was trained as an actor in college, and he said that like that was the technique for making crying convincing. Like if you just pour yourself into crying as hard as you can, it often looks fake. But if you try really hard to hold back tears, people connect with that a lot more, and they actually believe you're crying.
Because more people, right? Yeah, that makes sense.
That's what you usually do, right?
Like, oh, I'm okay, I'm okay.
Yeah, and you like sort of, and you feel like sympathy for their struggle to stop from crying, and so yeah. So anyway, so apparently that's what they were doing before, but now they'll actually show you really how sad they truly are. Let's see. Oh yeah. So let's see here. There were several hero bonuses and traits that had benefits that were being ignored. Some of them, particularly ones that were affecting durability loss on weapons, were actually being ignored, and they weren't having their positive effects. And also food consumed per day. Some of the things that were affecting how much food your characters ate were actually being ignored by the systems in the game. So those are all working now. So hopefully that won't suddenly crash somebody's food intake in their community. I think most of the things that were affected were positive, and so things should actually get better now when you have these traits. I'm going to cough for a second, hopefully not right into the microphone.
Now for your scheduled Geoffrey coughing sounds.
Yes, exactly. I should set a timer and make sure I do it on the hour. More on the half hour. What else is going on here? We fixed a crash that could occur when the final member of your community died right after finishing the final legacy mission. So you win the game, and then your character drops dead, and apparently that would crash the game because we were not planning on that.
Congratulations.
Yeah, you expect it to be a good moment, and then sometimes, yeah. So that shouldn't happen anymore.
Stop shooting my car, please.
So getting into the facilities, the sniper tower now offers a passive -2 to threat level, and a new option to spend 2 ammo to reduce the threat level by 6 for an hour while training the shooting skill. So basically, sending somebody up that tower to practice their shooting and reduce the threat level around the base. So it used to be the sniper tower didn't feel like the fancy watchtower that people really expected it to be. So now it does the kinds of things you expect a watchtower to be able to do on a grander scale. So it really should actually offer you the benefits that you would expect from its description. So that's good. Here's one of my favorite ones. Whenever you get the opportunity, drop some stuff. So we can see.
I just unloaded my inventory. But...
Oh, you did? Oh, you know, we can do it later. Whenever you get the chance. Sounds like there's zombies around. Just drop a bandage or something like that, or yeah. Look at that! It's got an icon that tells you exactly what it is. Isn't that cool? And if you have a we should check this out. If you use your gun enough or use your weapon enough that it gets damaged, we should drop that too, so we can show that it actually shows the current condition of the weapon.
Oh wow!
So you can really tell what it is you're getting into when you're picking something up off the ground. So that's another one of my favorite fixes that went into this patch.
That's huge. Yeah.
It used to be like it was just all bags, just all generic bags. And it was hard to tell.
Something.
Yeah, here's a bag. So you had to walk up and actually read its name in order to tell what it is. Now you can tell it at a glance. And we also made it, and I think this is on the list somewhere. Oh yeah, it's the next thing on the list. Plague samples. You know that plague sample on the ground?
Yeah.
They used to act like containers. Now they're just an object sitting on the ground. So you can pick them up with one button press instead of having to open them up and then like dig your hands around inside them and then pull out the plague sample.
That's right.
It was like it was 2 button presses. Now it's 1 button press. So. Yeah, and that just kind of arose out of like, we were the dropping system and the plague sample system were being handled in different ends of the team in different ways, and we found different solutions. Now it's all unified. Now everything you drop or anything that gets dropped by an enemy all works the same way. Let's see here. Oh, actually go over to that plague sample. Is it still on the ground?
Yeah.
Go over there. So It used to be that we had the lamest possible button prompt on these things. It just said interact when you would walk up to a plague sample. But now, go over there. See what it does. Get closer. Get closer. Get closer. What are you doing? There we go. Oh, take plague sample. Now it says take plague sample instead of interact, which makes me very happy. So,
I was practicing my walking.
Okay, yeah, there you go. Yeah, which is another new and improved feature.
Get up so I can knock you down again.
Let's see here.
Now we have 2 to choose from.
Oh, so vials of blood plague cure now will cure early stage infection. So if you right now you've got an early stage infection.
Yes.
You are not quite at full blood plague level.
Right.
You could use cure now.
I remember
and knock it down.
Yeah. I remember you had to increase it first before you could treat it.
Yeah, like you would go out and on purpose
intentionally get messed up to fix it. So that's cool.
Yeah. So now you can just use it and it'll wipe it out and you can start over from scratch, getting disgusting. Let's see here. Okay, there was a bug where some of the new Daybreak items, the rocket pods and the minefields, dealt no damage to vehicles. Now they do deal a small amount of damage to vehicles. Oh, we fixed the stack count for piles of weapon remains. You know those things you pick up that you can turn into parts?
I had one just a minute ago.
They used to stack to 99, which is kind of silly. And also, I mean, you don't usually find them often enough for that to matter, but they would stack to 99 in your inventory, which just seemed ridiculous. And so now they only stack to 3, like other normal things. Oh, so triggerable items like C4 are now set off in roughly the order in which they were placed. There were some items that they trigger in sequence, like multiple triggers would be effective on the same item. And that was kind of not playing well with the way that our triggering used to work before. So now there's sort of a sequence to the way that you can set things off. You can experiment with that in the game to see exactly how that works. But that stuff should all play well together now. Oh, consumables that provide an effect over time will now display while active over the health and stamina bars. So we added this mostly to support the new Bloodplay consumables, things like Zedi. Like when it's active, you want to see an icon in your HUD telling you that it's active.
Right.
Because you can say, well, maybe it's just a brighter night than usual, but you need to see that that's actually going on. And so that got added not just to the Bloodplay consumables, but to all the consumables that have an ongoing effect. You can now see it in the HUD. So I think if you used a stimulant or something like that, you'd be able to see it. And that is the end of the items section. Let's see here. And, oh, yeah, because I skipped to that, and I didn't actually finish the facility section. I'm doing this all out of order. Not that it really matters.
It's a lot to do.
So, yeah, this list is just so freaking huge. It's really hard to keep track of where I am. So
we listen to the community, guys.
Yeah, exactly.
Thanks to you, we have long lists of fixes.
So this was another one that actually that people complained about in the community. This one goes out to Blaze Experience, because on his podcast he was talking about the fact that the benefits of the bell tower at the church on the hill and the announcer box at Whitney Field were just kind of gimmies, because they would reduce threat level at the cost of causing an immediate zombie siege. The problem was the way that they would cause a zombie siege is they would just make a really loud noise, and they would try to attract any zombies that happened to be around. So if you didn't happen to have a lot of zombies around, almost nothing would happen. If you did have a lot of zombies around, then yeah, they would all attack the base. But a lot of the time that just wasn't the case. You had a safe area around your base anyway, so it just wasn't a big deal. So we've changed the way those work now. So now there's a genuine siege that actually happens, like
a little more risky.
It's just like the sieges that happen when when your threat level's been too high for a while and people call you home and they're like, hey, there's a zombie siege, and if you don't go home, then it's costs some ammo to fight them off.
Right.
Sometimes your facilities can get damaged. That whole thing. That one of those sieges happens now when you trigger that facility action, and because it got much harder, we also increased the benefit. So it actually reduces the threat more for longer now, but you have to actually deal with a real siege. Oh, nicely done! Wow, that's a beautiful. Was that a triple Lutz? I think yeah.
There's a lot of zombies on the street.
I'll give you a 4-0 for that one. So yeah. So anyway, thanks to Blaze Experience for calling that out on his podcast.
Chain link fence wins.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see here. So Oh, so it used to be that we forgot to check the cooking skill when you're upgrading your kitchen to a kitchen 2. It says that it requires the cooking skill, but it wasn't actually requiring it. Now it actually is requiring it. So you need to have somebody who's like a chef or something like that before you can upgrade your kitchen that way. The scrap materials for parts action now awards craftsmanship experience, which it was always supposed to do, but we just we didn't set it up right. The bike generator. Which is a facility mod you can put in your base to provide power to one facility. It used to cost fuel by accident. So basically, while there was an ongoing fuel cost when you were using it. So my theory is that the bikers were drinking gasoline. They were just getting so thirsty. They were just pouring gasoline down their throat, which isn't very good for you.
No.
So they're not doing that anymore. So they should be a lot healthier now.
Don't try it at home, kids.
I assume that was probably just a copy and paste bug, right? Like we made the portable generator, and then copied and pasted it and made the bike generator. Forgot to turn off the fuel cost. I don't know if that. I didn't implement it. I don't know if that but that's that's the kind of thing that happens to me all the time with the traits and stuff like that. So
if somebody uses it, do they get better stamina? Or
I don't remember. Brian doesn't answer that question.
Maybe I'm causing more problems for us than we should.
I think. Oh man, our food's starting to get yellow. We got to be careful. I think we got another day before we're starting to starve. Let's see here. Oh, we fixed a cost mismatch when employing the pathology skill to craft a bulk plague cure item versus individual vials of plague cure. So there was just something. I wasn't directly involved with this one, but there was something wrong with the way that the costs of those played out, where it seems like it was kind of exploitable, and so now those costs should all make sense. So it shouldn't be like giving you weird incentives to build one thing instead of another. We no longer award free influence when changing maps because now you get a free base instead. So it used to be when you changed maps, you'd get that really crappy base off by the side of the map, the rally point bases, which they had their role early on in development, but really. As we continued to refine the systems and change the way the game worked, the rally points made less and less sense. They made it into the final game, but then eventually we just decided to remove them and let you settle at the suburban houses when you switch maps, because things like not being able to bring a rucksack home because you didn't have a storage facility, it just didn't make any sense with the rally points. So we removed the rally points, but we had left in this thing where, because you didn't have a proper base when you went to a map, we were giving you this giant pile of influence that you could use to buy a new base as soon as you arrived. But now that we give you a new base when you arrive, that pile of influence doesn't make any sense anymore. So pile of influence is gone. Enjoy earning your keep. Let's see here. Oh, the infirmary text now more accurately describes recovery from injuries and trauma. We actually make changes like that all the time, and not all of them get announced necessarily. Just because sometimes we notice, we're not communicating something accurately. We'll come up with a better way to say it. So that's an example of that. You can no longer repair the same weapon multiple times in a row without damaging it first. So when you were in the facilities menu and you were trying to repair your current weapon, it wouldn't update. When you had successfully repaired your weapon. So you could just keep doing it and keep spending money on it even though it was pointless. So now you can't do that.
Okay, so only as needed.
Only as needed, yeah, exactly. And then the last thing was something I already said when I skipped ahead. So cool. Okay, we're down to a few. We've only got 17 minutes left. This is the longest set of patch notes we've ever gone over.
It's a lot of notes, guys.
It's kind of ridiculous. Let me check on questions before we move on. Oh, there's a lot of questions that I've missed. Holy crap.
Questions.
Let's see here. So some of these are about suggestions for new features and things like that I'm probably just going to have to tell you, can't. Those are great ideas. We can't talk about any of our plans. So Death Hour says, I really like how some enclaves have a Z chained to a pole. Can we add some of those to our base, please? That's an interesting question. I'll have to think about that. Let's see here. Oh, yeah. There are another few other bugs that people are saying are still in the game. Things like missing followers, stuff like that. So, yeah, sorry about that. Definitely, if you have a serious issue to report, something that you want to really make sure gets on our radar, go to support.stateofdecay.com. It's our new portal that lets us get feedback from you guys much more effectively and do something about it. So we really want to, definitely use that, because that's, telling it to me on the stream, it might get it lodged in my head and I might remember to go and write it down and talk to the right person. Chances are I'll probably just go eat a bunch of candy to get over my my post-stream doldrums, and will forget everything you said. So
all of it.
So go to support.stateofdecay.com, because that's where you'll get people who are professionals and will be able to answer your problems. See here, yeah. So, so Scarproof has a question about why you can't upgrade the hydroponics facility. That is more of a question for Brian, who could talk through sort of the whole planning process for all of our facilities. We should get him on again. He was here last week. We should get him on again sometime in the future so we can answer more questions like that.
Brian is a wealth of information.
He is absolutely a wealth of information. He's in charge of a lot of different, very detailed systems, and getting him on the stream is always really useful for that kind of stuff. Yeah, so Elvis Hernandez asks, are we ever going to get the feature from the original State of Decay where you could call in somebody to pick up a rucksack for you from your home community? So the reason,
I like that feature.
That was fun. The thing is, the reason that feature existed was because we didn't have car trunks back then. And so you could only literally bring home one rucksack per sortie.
You could carry, yeah.
And so this doubled it, and it made it amazing. Now, you look at the game, you can carry 8 rucksacks in a van. And so having one of your community members hike it all the way across the map with all of the problems that causes, with them running into zombies and us having to keep track of their, their pathing, and now they're not at home, like all of the trouble that would cause for a single rucksack, it's hard, a lot harder to justify that. We did, however, the previous patch, Jurgen added the ability to, when you bring a follower with you, you can easily hand a rucksack to them. Which does make it so that you can still double your rucksack carrying if you're operating 2 at a time. And you also, because we've removed a lot of the negative traits that can come from bringing followers with you, hopefully that should be a more attractive option. So that's probably your best bet if you want to double the rate at which you can carry rucksacks.
Yikes.
Oh, Brian confirmed that the people guzzling gasoline on the bike thing, that was a copy-paste bug. Oh yeah, so Brian says he's in our chat, and he says that hydroponics being unupgradable, it was actually meant to be a top tier facility. Like, it's the kind of thing you only build after you have really leveled stuff up to the top. It isn't the first level of something that then has a bunch of headroom. It's meant to be a pinnacle facility. And it takes a lot of stuff. You have to do a lot of work to get to the point where you can set it up. So that's why basically he wants it to feel like it's a reward, like you've reached the pinnacle of something, not that you're just getting something started at the bottom. Let's see here. So, okay, back to the patch notes, because we got 13 minutes and a few more categories. So, missions. Allied enclaves, people who are already your friends, ask you for help and threaten to leave if you don't help them, half as often now. So I know that was a big time sink for a lot of people, and it can be a little bit frustrating. So now it happens half as often.
A lot of times you'd have to stop what you're doing to go deal with it because you knew they'd leave.
Yeah, exactly. So you have now basically twice as much time between instances of that where you can get more done before you have to worry about it. When you interact with an NPC, the dialogue options now pop up immediately instead of waiting for them to talk. So you remember, you would talk to, when you interact with somebody and they've got a long line of dialogue to say, you're just standing there and you don't have any interactive options. You're like, what's going on? Now that doesn't happen anymore. Now when you talk to them, they immediately pop up your choices, and you can start figuring out what you're going to say. Personal leadership-related missions no longer automatically override your current mission. So it used to be you'd be in the middle of a mission, and then suddenly somebody back home is like, hey, someday I want to be a sheriff. Let me start doing some sheriffy stuff. And it would wipe out your mission. It wouldn't wipe it out. It would still be there on the map, but you'd have to go back and re-pin that mission again. And it was annoying. So that doesn't happen anymore. Let's see here.
Everything but food.
Several story enclaves. Oh yeah, so we went through a bunch of the enclaves that were story-driven and gave them better inventories to trade with you. So like the ex-military enclave, or the auto mechanics enclave, or the doctors enclave, or the booze hounds enclave. It's one of my favorites. Those guys, they would have they had the same trade inventories, the same kind of random trade inventories as every other enclave in the map, and that was lame. So now they have specialized trade inventories. So if you go to the booze hounds now, like after you're done, with their their arc and they're like, okay, we're going to trade our best stuff with you now, you can go to them and you could buy a bunch of alcohol from them. Or you can go to the doctors and you can buy a bunch of medical supplies. Or go to the auto mechanics and buy toolkits and gas and stuff like that. So that's all on theme now. Starting characters are no longer shown as belonging to the same community during the tutorial. So there was just this weird, it's a tiny little issue, but it bugged us that the characters that you meet over the course of the tutorial, who eventually become your starter community, it would already show them in the dialogue options and stuff. It would in the subtitles. It would show them already belonging to your community, and that was just weird. And so that's gone now. Oh, and then there were cases where there's a mission called Warlord: Notice of Eviction. It could accidentally be abandoned, through no fault of your own. That shouldn't happen anymore. So on to multiplayer. So we've refined the experience for clients depositing rucksacks for the host. So when you're a client in somebody's game, they're the host, and you've got a rucksack on your back. There used to be a lot of confusion about whether you could deposit the rucksack for them, what benefit it would have, like who gets the benefit, and people believe different things, and it was sort of a weird combination of different things was happening. So now it's really straightforward. Anybody who goes to the storage facility at the base and drops it off, they give the resources to the host, and then everybody gets an influence benefit from it. So it's very straightforward. So if you're a client, go run those things over to your host, and you'll get an influence prize. They'll get the resources. Everybody's going to be happy. It'll be great. And then clients now gain appropriate progress for achievements earned in a host game. So it used to be that a bunch of our achievements that felt like they should work when you're a guest in somebody else's game were not working. We went through and kind of did an audit of those, and a lot of the ones that felt like they weren't working the way you'd expect them to now work the way they're expected to. So when you're a client in somebody else's game, you should be getting the achievement progress that you expect to be able to get. And we removed some jittery behavior for players' icons when they're riding in vehicles. It used to be like you're driving around your friend in your vehicle, their icon would be like on top of the vehicle.
Catching up.
Yeah, so it should be a lot smoother now, and we've reduced a lot of the issues with that. Oh, so this one was a community request. I forgot which community member brought it up to me, but when you open a vehicle trunk and you're carrying a rucksack, and the vehicle has room for the rucksack, we now start your cursor on your rucksack, assuming that your plan is to put the rucksack in the vehicle.
I think I just noticed that here.
Oh, you might have, yeah. So that happens all the time. So it used to be that it would assume you wanted to get something out of the vehicle, I think. It would keep the icon in there. Or maybe it would be somewhere else in your inventory. I forgot what the old behavior is now, because the new behavior is better, and it makes way more sense. So that was specifically a community request. So actually, I've heard people on our Discord talking about the fact that it's weird because they got so used to always doing the same movement with their D-pad every time they opened a vehicle trunk to get over to where their rucksack was, and now they still have that habit, except they're already starting on the rucksack, so they're actually like messing themselves up. But if you're making new habits, it should be good. And let's see here. Oh, when you die and you have only one available character left, we don't make you select them from a menu of one person. We just send you straight to that person. So pressing. Oh,
jeez.
So there was a thing. Open your community screen real quick since you're safe. Go over to the right. Okay, so zoom in on a character. Like look at Wexler here, or Joseon, or something. Okay, so it used to be that if you hit the change view, or we used to call the back button. If you hit the back button from here, you wouldn't leave. Hit the back button though. You left!
Bam!
So it used to be you were stuck in that menu unless you hit B to get out of that. Now you can just hit the, hit the view button. Or it's the V key on the keyboard. I don't think anyone uses that. But you can get out of there much more easily now.
Keyboards.
The car flip icon now consistently shows as inactive when flipping is impossible. There's various reasons why you might not be able to flip a car at a given moment. But it wouldn't always, the icon wouldn't always show you that was the case. And so you'd be seeing an active icon and trying to interact with it and it wouldn't work. So now, when you can't flip the car, the icon is inactive to show you that you can't flip the car. And help tips now no longer show over dialogue. It used to be if you had a help tip up, it would be superimposed over the subtitles, or no, it wasn't subtitles. It was the interactive dialogue, and make it harder to read. You have to sit there and wait for the help tip to go away before you could fully read the interactive dialogue. So now it doesn't do that. The dialogue wins those battles now. So billboards now and signs now stream in their textures, their high-res textures from further away. So now you can see the nice looking version of the texture. It used to be that you would see the kind of low res version of the texture from a lot of different places, but now you get it whenever you're supposed to. You get the high res texture whenever you need to get it for it to look good. The visuals and audio for automatic gunfire now line up a lot better than they did before. So it used to be they would kind of be out of sync and it wouldn't look like they were really made for each other. Now they actually line up and feel like they're working appropriately. Oh, hello.
I heard him, but I didn't see him.
Yeah.
It's usually how it happens.
That's how, yeah, these guys are sneaky like that. Nicely done. Oh. Then the music starts. More zombies have heard you.
Got the party started.
So yeah, so you should also no longer be able to outrun the grass. It used to be that if you're moving fast enough, you get to an area with no grass, and then the grass would sort of pop in around you. Now the grass should actually pop
Faster
in.
grass, you guys.
Yeah, the grass would pop in. Now shows up at the appropriate distance as you're moving, so that you should actually it should feel more natural now. And that's it. That is the end of our patch notes. So if you want to review those yourselves, you can go to stateofdecay.com or something. It's somewhere. I don't know. Send them a link in the chat. Oh, hey, we got somebody spamming in our chat. That's always wonderful. Somebody get out the ban hammer. Anyway, so that's it. So that is a lot of stuff. That's one of the biggest patches we've ever done.
It's a lot of patch.
It's a lot of patch, but it was a lot of fun. And we really appreciate how well our community has been, how good our community has been at giving us constructive feedback and like letting us know, the stuff that the user experience problems that were really affecting them the most. You guys are very communicative, and but in a positive way. Like now and then you get somebody who just only wants to vent and be mean. But most of you guys are really, really cool with us, and it makes it so much more pleasant for us to be addressing these issues when we know you guys, are on board with us and just want to help.
Glad you guys care. Glad and a lot of these notes we get are from the community, and we can only do so much testing, and you guys play this game a lot and cover. There's a lot more of you, and it covers a lot more ground, and it helps us make a better game, and we all benefit from it. So.
Yeah, there's always going to be just bugs that we don't find that you guys do, and there's always going to be like perspectives that you guys have playing the game. For longer and really paying attention to the way you're playing. Like you guys do things that we literally can't do here a lot of the time, and so
I do this a lot. I wander off from my car and then I have to go
all the way back. Yeah, just sort of like chaining from one like squirrel,
Ooh,
from
yeah,
one thing to
totally,
the next.
Totally. Billboard, gun store.
So anyway, we really appreciate you guys. We couldn't find this stuff without you. And this is not the last big patch we're doing. I mean, we're right now working on the next one, and we're listening to your feedback. And so now we're really happy that we've got support.stateofdecay.com up and running now. Please go there. If you have any issues with the new patch, if anything that I talked about here is not working the way I think it does, or if there's any new stuff you're discovering, old stuff we haven't addressed yet, please take it to support.stateofdecay.com. We want to hear about it. We want to be able to respond to you guys' needs, and we want each patch to make this game better than it was before. So I'm gonna pop back over to Slack and see what other new questions have come up. Oh, K-Sizzle says, State of Decay 1 had the ability to reload guns directly from your supply locker. Can we have that back? That is on the list. I can't tell you where it's going to be on the priority list. It's on there with a lot of other things we want to do. But yeah, that is something that we remember from the first game that we know would be very useful. So that is on our list. It's something we'd love to do. We'll have to see when we can get around to it.
You can load them up in the menu, and then when you go to grab them, they're all ready to go.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and then yeah, I think you could even. I can't remember if you could unload them too, but that would actually be really cool as well. So
I think you could, because if you needed the ammo from something, you could clear it out.
And let's see here. ADHD Space Pilot asks, can you recruit from those special enclaves after finishing their missions? A lot of them you can. It really varies from enclave to enclave. Certain enclaves are not made to be recruited from. You can't recruit any cannibals. You can't recruit, some of the weirdos. But there definitely are
enclaves. They bring morale down.
That you can recruit from once their missions are over. So I believe that the army guys you can. I think maybe the doctors you can. The booze hounds. I think you can do it with those. But don't quote me on that because I didn't actually make those missions, and so I don't know them that intimately. So Death Hour asks, are skill book traders only available on the weekend? So no, the rare skills trader is actually one of the normal traders that could show up anytime. That's directly from Brian. He answered that question in Slack for me. But yeah, that's he's the rare weekend trader. They're the only ones. They're the only one that is time restricted. The rare skills trader could potentially show up anytime. And the rare skills trader is the one that I believe has the new training manuals that came with the Z100 update. The ones that let you respec your core skills. So so be on the lookout for that guy. Let's see here.
Lots of zombies today, guys.
Oh, so UZ3L Pry or PR says, I have 2 red talon soldiers with normal clothes. Is that a bug? Because for me, it's okay. No, it's not a bug. It was one of the first things we brought up on the stream. If you want to pop up the radio again, that's up on the D-pad.
Oh, sorry.
That's cool. And then go down to Daybreak. So now, instead of having 1 recruit option, we've got 2. Recruit Red Talon Daybreak Operator and Recruit Red Talon Soldier. And so if you do Soldier, you get the classic outfit. And if you do Daybreak Operator, you get the Daybreak outfit. Both of them are identical in terms of their skills and stats. So yeah, you don't have to worry about like one of them being worse than the other. They cost the same. They have the same benefits. They just look different. So if you like that Red Talon outfit, the sort of the all black underneath with the sort of the khaki vest, a khaki like utility vest, then yeah, the Soldier option is what you want. Oh, so yeah, so someone specifically was asking how come they can't recruit the Z trappers, the guys who have the zombies chariot up to the pole, because they have some special outfits. That's, you know, as far as the outfits go, we're looking into sort of what our options are for giving people more of an ability to sort of control what, basically more options for who to recruit, what outfits people can have. We'd like you to be able to have as many options as you can when it comes to, you know, sort of customizing what your group looks like. We haven't figured out exactly what the right answer for our game is yet, but we are listening to that, and that's you know, you've seen with this update we did a lot of stuff that the community had been asking for, and so that's another one that's on our list that, you know, we know that there's a lot of people who want to get characters in military outfits. There's a lot of people who want the Z Trappers outfits. There's a bunch of these outfits that people are hungry for. So we're looking into the options there, and you know, hopefully maybe sometime in the future we'll find something to satisfy that desire. So Analog Sensei, this is gonna be our last question we're gonna take because we're actually over time. Analog Sensei asks, why can't we heal and reload while in a car? That's a very good question. We're still working on that, but hopefully we'll have more to talk to you about soon.
Distracted driving, safety issue.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. But yeah, no, that is on our list. So thanks for bringing it up, and we'll have to we'll have to talk more about that later. And so with that, I think we should probably say goodbye. So let me let's switch into this mode. Hey, look, it's Dan mode. He's been driving this whole time. He's been answering your questions about weapons, and we're really glad to have him here. Thank you for coming and being my wingman today.
Yeah, man, absolutely. Happy Thanksgiving, guys. Thanks so much for the feedback and the questions.
Yep. So, and again, thanks for playing our game. Thanks for being, you know, all of the positive feedback about the Z100 update. It's felt really good to us. Thank you for talking to us, and, you know, thanks for letting us know when you have problems. So again, that's support.stateofdecay.com. If you're having issues with the game, please use that channel, talk to us. We want to hear about it, and we want the next patch to fix, you know, a ton more problems for you guys. So with that, I guess we will see you later.
See you guys.
Bye.